Hi, this is Abul Hussain coming to you direct from London, the United Kingdom, and welcome to another episode of the SMMA Mastermind, where we talk about how you can start or scale your digital marketing agency. And we also bring on subject matter experts to share their wisdom with us, to upskill us so that we can deliver better results for our clients and also grow our businesses. Now, if you are watching this episode outside of our Facebook group, make sure to find the link above or below this video, or go to smmamastermind.com. Now, with that out of the way, I have a very special guest joining me all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. He is the owner and founder of a digital marketing agency, and we are going to talk about his agency, which is called the Wright Consult, and also his podcast, Your Company Health, and see what wisdom he can share with us. Andre Wright, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Abdul. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining me. Now, for the people who might not know who you are, how about a little bit of an introduction? How did you get into the digital marketing space?
Well, I moved to the US about 15 years ago, and my first job was a digital sales job with a Google outsourced company in Arizona. And then from that, I moved up and I worked a lot on Google Ads account. So this company that I was working with, the main purpose of the company was to reach out to SMB, that's small and medium business, to help them with Google Ads, right? So that's was my role initially in Google in digital sales, and then I got promoted and in managing a group of digital sales and account managers. So that's when I got into digital marketing, and I got to go deeper in the digital marketing world and understood how Google Ads work, how online marketing worked, and that's when I just dived in, and from that day or that period I just got to enjoy digital marketing.
That's absolutely awesome. Now, you've been running your business for a couple of years now. What services do you provide for your clients?
So we do website design and development, and we do SEO, search engine optimization, paid search, and also social media management. So not only do we build the website, but we also optimize it so that the clients can be found online.
Right. Okay. And do you work in a particular industry or in a certain niche?
So initially, when I started, just to follow up on the journey, in 2015, my family and I, we left Arizona and I moved here to Atlanta. That's when I started the Wright Consult, right? And initially, I was just targeting anyone. The targeting was all over the place. I was working with plumbers, I was working with roofers, but fast track to 2021 to today, I still work a little bit in different verticals, but my main vertical is the healthcare sphere. So that's where I'm really zoomed in now. I work a lot with dentists, chiropractors, eye doctors. That's my sweet spot, and the reason for doing so, I remember having a discussion with a mentor, and I realized that I was wasting a lot of time, trying to get the business from all different angles when I could just narrow the business into the healthcare market and try to to serve that industry, and that's what I'm doing now, and we're doing it to great effect.
Oh, that's absolutely awesome. So, you went from being a bit of a generalist to a bit more of a specialist. What kind of an impact did it actually have on your agency? Because one question that I see a lot of people who might be freelancers or startup agency owners ask is, shall I be a generalist or shall I, start operating in a niche from the beginning? Now, here we have you who has actually made the pivot, obviously, to work more in a niche. What actual impact has it had on your business?
So the impact is you're narrowed. That means when you move to a niche, you're now narrowed, you're now focused, and then you can easily replicate the strategy of what you're doing, because you will be able to have more case studies, for instance, of dental marketing. What is working for dentists, and you could replicate that for another dentist. So instead of being all over the place and being as a generalist as you put it, that time and effort you could scale your business, your agency more when you're super narrowed to that sphere. And we found out, for our agency, that we were more efficient and we are more effective when we kind of narrow down to this vertical. So the great advantage is you will be more efficient. You will have more, a line of strategy of what is working and what you can replicate for your clients. So in essence, I think it's a better way to scale your business.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes total sense. Now, when you are approaching providers in the healthcare space, what do they expect you to be able to deliver with your agency for them?
Well, as you know, Abdul, with this business, it's all about results, right? And that's how I approach it with these healthcare practitioners. My goal is to bring you patients, right? My goal is for your business to look the best online, for you to have that online visibility. And that's why I, from the outset of the conversation, I laid the proper foundation and set the expectation to let them know that this is what we're going to do. And this is what we can accomplish in month one, and then what we'll get in month two. And that's the thing. You have to explain this. You have to set the proper expectation. For instance, SEO. Mm-hmm. SEO is a more long-term strategy. We just don't start it in month one and hey, I moved from the 20th spot on the keyword and hey, I'm number one.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. You may be lucky from time to time, but it doesn't work like that. It takes a lot of work through the process. So I find that when I have these conversations with the doctors to let them know that, hey, this is a plan of action. This is where we're going to be in 6 months. This is where we're going to be in 12 months. Set the expectation that, in the end, we have a better relationship and the longevity is more. So to circle back and to answer your question, is that the expectation, we speak about the goal and the objectives of the practice, for example, and then we strategize and put together, whether we're going to start with a SEO approach here or Google Ads, or we're going to focus on social. What are we going to do in month one? And then we would work with the practitioner to drive that strategy to attain the goal.
Okay, no, that makes total sense. Now, obviously, you've also got your podcast. Tell us a little bit about, your show and, what do you do with it?
So Your Company Health, that was born in early last year. Mm-hmm. My business partner and I, Anne-Marie Gilio, she owns a fitness studio. And, we're talking one day and we're like, we're in the early stage of this pandemic. People are at home. There's an appetite to listen podcasts and to see what's working and not for business, and just to listen to podcasts. There was an appetite in essence for podcasts. So we decided to start this podcast just to bring on entrepreneurs and business owners just to tell their success stories, similar to what you're doing, mm-hmm. Just to highlight what's working, what's not, and someone listening can take on this approach so that their business can be successful. So it's a podcast where we just, bring on guests to just tell their stories.
Right. Okay. So it's not necessarily within, the healthcare space or anything like that.
So eventually it will. The idea is, as the way this business, the Wright Consult started, we'll be more of a generalist, and then eventually it will be narrowed. So eventually the idea is to bring on healthcare practitioners and just to talk about their stories, their practice, and how they can help others.
Right. Okay. No, that totally makes sense. You need to start somewhere, I suppose, before you can specialize. And like this podcast, I only started it back in June last year, and this is like episode number 110 or something like that. I've been using my spare time here, to obviously do something productive, which is to bring great content to the community. Now,
of course, and as I mentioned earlier, there's an appetite for this. Yes. People are at home; they want to listen to good content.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes sense. So with your agency set up right now, how does it look internally? How big is your team? What do they focus on? And what do you, more importantly, as the business owner, focus on?
So my role is really as as a top level managers to ensure that all the projects, work together. I have a designer, I have a social media manager, I have a SEO team and also a paid search team. So my job is to meet with my teams, on a weekly basis, just to ensure that all the projects are going right, and also just to do a lot of networking. I'm a big networker, just to ensure that we can get in those businesses to scale the company.
Right. Okay. And in terms of prospecting, one of the questions that I seem to get asked quite a lot is, how do you get a client? What does your client getting acquisition, strategy look like? I mean, what was it before when you started 4 years ago, and what are you doing today, I suppose?
Oh, and I want to tell you, to answer your question, one of my best clients, I actually went and knocked on their door. It's a dental practice. I just went there and I walked up with my flyer and I just, can I speak with a doctor? And I had that conversation. It's like, hey, let's do it. And that's one of my better clients.
I love it.
But the strategy is really a multifaceted strategy. I have a LinkedIn strategy to try to reach out to these healthcare practitioners. I've been doing some ads, and also I have a business development person who actually would reach out and try to get these contracts. So it's really a multi-faceted approach. And I forgot about networking. I'm a networker. As the saying goes, people do business with who they know. Yeah. And I find out that I get a good bunch of clients by just connections and referrals. So that's a big part of how we're able to scale the Wright Consult.
Mm-hmm. And your clients, are they on a month-to-month basis, or do you usually have some sort of a contract that you say you require to actually deliver results? Because we know SEO is not going to happen overnight or even in a month.
Right. So it varies, but the month-to-month it's typically more expensive. So we make it easier for the customer to be in a at least a 6-month retainer. That's what we do. It's less expensive than if you want to do month to month. Yes, we can do it, but it's going to be a little bit more. So more often we'll get clients who want to do the 6 months.
Right. And how do you kind of make sure that your client is aware of all of the great stuff that you're doing for them, so that they know when the invoice comes to pay it for the following month?
So good question. And from my time with in Arizona and starting in digital marketing, I realized, and up until now, my experience, I realized that transparency is important. And there are a lot of agencies out there. For instance, they hide the Google Analytics from the client, or they hide certain reporting. My thing is I try to be transparent. Every month I ensure that my client they get that reporting, that open reporting. Look at the numbers. If conversions are down, I would let them know why it's down this month. Just be open and be transparent. And clients they like that level of transparency. When you're open and just show them what you're going to do with the upcoming month to alleviate this or to progress the business. So I'm big on reporting. I use Google Analytics a lot, and I use a company called CallRail for calling. Conversion, Google Ads conversion tracking. I use that to show conversions. So but in terms of the reporting, every month my client will get their reporting, and we'll go over what's working and what's coming, what we have done, and what we're going to do in the upcoming months.
Right. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense, I suppose. So in terms of retention, how solid is your retention strategy from reporting once a month? It's easy to sign a client up, and then to keep them with you, it's the harder task.
No, it is difficult, and Abdul, as you know, it's digital marketing. It's a very competitive space, so it's really it's difficult. So that's why we try to be transparent. We want to build this relationship. As I mentioned, people do business who they know and trust, right? We want to be honest with the client. We want to ensure that we're looking out for their best interests. right? It's not just about, getting their money every month, but to showing value. And that's what we try to do every single month. We always find new things to help the customer. So that's what it's all about, creating value. And that's what we do month over month. And just to ensure that we're there. We're not just going to set their campaigns and leave it and do nothing and then collect your money at the end of the month. We're going to show them that we're actually working. And in between the reporting, if we see any wins, we'll just shoot the customer a quick note and say, hey, you got 10 form fills today, or you got 15 phone calls today. If something out of the ordinary that's good, we normally just keep that communication going because clients want to know that you care about their business.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
It's not just about you, but you care about their business, and that's what we try to do. We try to create value and try to work as a partner with clients.
That makes total sense. Now, as you quite rightly pointed out, the digital marketing space is super competitive. The barrier to entry to create an agency is so low that you have like 14-year-olds still at high school, setting up an agency
Exactly.
overnight. Now, in this crowded market, how does one stand out? How do you capture someone's attention?
Yeah, and that's a good question. And just to piggyback on what I mentioned before, it's just a constant communication. It's just effective communication. Ensure that you're on the same page with the customer. Just the open reporting, just to let them know that, hey, we're on your side. So in essence, for me, what separates me from the other agencies that I'm holding the client's hand right through the process, and I'm letting them know that we're focused on conversion. It's all about your business. That's why the reporting. That's why the constant communication, to let them know that we're in this to grow your business. That's what it's all about. Because we know in the long term, if we're not doing our job, you're going to find a new agency.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And as you say, these are some of things that you obviously kind of learn from experience. You need to kind of start the journey without trying to guess how it's going to be. Now, you've been on your journey for a couple of years now. What would you say has been the biggest lesson for you that has kind of, helped you be a better agency owner?
Yeah, the biggest lesson, to be honest, is, just try to create value in everything that we do. Because I want to tell you, when we started this business in 2015, so we're going on in 6 years. When we started this business, it was just all about, bringing all that we can, just crunching numbers and putting out. But as you scale the business and you grow, you realize that, you have to, provide more value. Always looking, if not just, although you may be, getting the client the right conversions per month, but they could be doing another strategy and getting even more conversion. So you can't just be complacent because you're getting the results. Yeah. Always find new ways to help the client, and they will reward you for that. Right.
No, that's very true, and I can see your whole strategy seems to be around building transparent and great relationships, and being that trusted advisor to your clients. Now, final question for you, Andre. If someone is watching this and they're like, okay, I really want to build my agency, or I want to grow my agency, or I want to be a better freelancer, and they're stuck on getting started, what would you advise them?
Just get started. just keep moving. Just keep moving. I was actually onboarding a new employee the other day, and we're talking about this same thing of being stuck and being in this digital space. I mean, it's just like sales. I mean, you have to have a short memory. You have to have a short memory, and sometimes you may do things that don't work. But on the other hand, you may try different things and they work, right? So it's all about doing new things, because I tell people all the time, the effectiveness of any campaign is how well you optimize, right? How will you build on what you have and you learn? You know, one of the things with my team, you know, when we have our meetings, we'll always ask question, what have you learned from that, you know, from that campaign? You know, what are we learning here? Yep. So the idea is to learn and then to build on it. And I'm not sure if you mentioned it yet, but I have a book coming out this summer.
No, please talk about your book. I didn't realize you had a book coming out, so please tell us more.
Yeah, it's called Visibility: Doing Digital Marketing the Right Way. And some of the things I spoke about today, we laid out in the book. You know, talk about it's like a digital marketing guide, how to do website right and SEO. You know, we touched on the future of digital marketing, like influencer marketing and the importance of chatbot and AI and things of that nature. So it's a good read. It's coming out in a couple of months. We're just in the final stages of editing now, so it should be out there. And hope I could share it with the world, and aspiring agency owners or business owners can take it out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, and I love your line that, you know, in sales, you need to have a short memory, because I think often people get too emotional and offended, and that's what keeps them stuck.
No,
so
definitely.
This is exactly what I'm going to call this episode. In sales, you need a short memory. Now, Andre, if someone wants to get in touch with you, find out more about you or your book, you know, where's the best place to find you?
So for agency, it's the WrightConsult.com. So TheWrightConsult.com. And for the podcast is yourcompanyhealth.com. And for my personal page where you can pre-order the book, you go to AndreEWright.com. That's AndreEWright.com.
Or they can just look you up on LinkedIn, and all of the links are probably going to be there.
Look for Andre Wright MBA, you'll find me around.
On that note, Andre Wright, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Abdul. It was a pleasure, and I appreciate the time.